Annie Purdue Olson here. Newsflash, people don't like meetings, especially the unproductive ones. People see time as their treasure. So how can we treasure their time? How can we think about doing meetings differently, or even getting creative about accomplishing what it is that we do in a meeting outside of the meeting? So I'm going to talk about being creative, being concise, and then checking in on what's important. So let's talk creativity. Creativity is thinking about different ways that we could do the meeting. A lot of meetings are spent doing updates on information. What if we took those updates out of the meeting and put together a video that would communicate what is needed in a really short amount of time, and then just update on that information, just check in on that information in the meeting? What about storytelling? Storytelling is a great creative way to move the conversation forward, to make it interesting, and to keep it creative. You could do storytelling in the meeting, or you could even do storytelling in a video before the meeting and then use it as a springboard for the conversation so that your meeting gets more forward moving. What about different voices? Aren't like some of the worst meetings when the same person is giving the content over and over and over again and you're just going down a bullet list of information? So what about engaging different voices in the room? Now this one you got to be careful with because some people are not as concise. And so you can get knocked off track in a meeting if you do this live in a meeting. So what about having that person do a video ahead of time that is concise and in a specific time frame, but you get other voices in the conversation, or coach them ahead of time and say, here's how much time you have. How are you going to do it? Let's think this through ahead of time, because getting concise takes work. And that's the second point. Boy, we got to get concise. A lot of people will use emails to update people before the meeting or after the meeting. And the problem is that we live in a Twitter world. You got about 240 characters before you lose your audience. And so think about how you can be concise. Prepare what you have to say, write the email, and then go back and cut out every single extra word. Oh my gosh, this is so hard for me because I've got so many words and I want to say the same thing 3 different ways just to make sure my message gets heard. But you got to cut out every single extra word, especially when you're communicating via email. So let's get concise. And then we use our meeting times to check in on what's important. And it might be in our one-on-one meetings, it might be in a group meeting, but the check-in is not about further updates or about repeating the updates that we just gave. It's about asking the question to make sure that what we've communicated has been heard, and collect feedback or interaction on the basis of that. So this is certainly not all the ways that we can make meetings more effective. There's a lot of different things that we could try. I'd love to hear from you about ideas that you have. If you want 3 strategies on how to streamline your meetings, because you're still going to have plenty of them, they will happen. If you want to streamline, check out my blog. The link is in with this video, and thanks for joining me.